Hey, fourth grade friends, it's Mrs. Herbay. We're going to be starting a new unit this week where we're going to be talking about form. And forms are actually three-dimensional shapes. And I sent you home a little packet, and I sent you these two sort of little worksheets. And what I thought would be kind of cool is if you wanted to grab your sketchbooks, we could put these, I can show you how to put these together in your sketchbooks, and then we're going to use them as a reference as we explore shape and form. So what you're going to do is grab your sketchbook, turn to a blank page, and what we're going to do first is we will cut out these shapes. So we're going to cut out this strip right here. And we're going to then, after we cut out the strip, then we are going to cut along the lines so that we have four. So now we have 6 of these guys here. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to cut out this outer rectangle. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to cut along this one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay, so we have these little flippy floppies here. Okay, and then what's going to happen is if you want to grab your glue stick, what's going to happen is we're going to fold, oops, I didn't quite cut far enough for that one. So then what we're going to do is we're just going to fold these back like that. Okay. So you should have something that looks like this, okay? And what's going to happen is we're going to grab our glue stick, and we're only going to put glue down this little center rectangle right here. And Mrs. Herbay's glue stick is gone. Got another one. So again, yeah, we just want to put glue down this middle section right here, and then we're just going to kind of line it up in our sketchbooks, smooth it, and then there you have it. Now what we're going to do is then we're going to grab these other objects that we cut out, and we're going to see if we can figure out what is what. So for example, this ball of yarn is a sphere, right? So then what we'll do is we'll put some glue on the back of that, and we're going to just stick this in here like that. Okay. Next, the cone of this ice cream cone is a cone. Okay. We're going to put, and as we explore these shapes and forms, I will also be showing you strategies on how to draw them. Then we have a cube, which would be the dice, right? So that's going to go here. And then we have a cylinder, which is a jar. And then we have a pyramid. These are pyramids. And then last but not least, we have a rectangular prism. Okay, and if you feel like really being fancy, you can cut out the form graphic, or if you want to write the word form in your own kind of lettering, you can. So then we're going to put glue around this. Stick it there, and there you have it. Okay, so the nice thing about this is this kind of shows you some realistic examples of what these shapes are. What we could also do too is rather than do this particular one, we could cut out. So what we'll do is we're going to cut out. Let's cut out these shapes. And then we're going to use the circle, square, rectangle. We're not going to use the hexagon or the oval. We're going to use the triangle. Okay, and then what we can do is we can kind of, next to, oops, cube goes over here, sphere goes over here. Okay, we can kind of put these shapes, and then I'm gonna, if you want, you can glue those down. And then after you get those glued down, we're going to get out this worksheet, and we're going to do a little bit of drawing practice, okay? So go ahead, get these other shapes glued down, and then we'll continue. All right, guys, now what we're going to do is we're going to grab this other worksheet, and it talks about some strategies on how you take a shape, a 2D shape, and give it, do something to it so that it looks like it has more like it has form, like it's more three-dimensional. And one of the ways that you can do that is by using dark and light, and by finding the shadows of the object. If we think about this as a sphere, we would imagine that it's going to curve up and then back away from us again, right? If we took a ball and cut it in half, it would sort of be coming up and then going back. So the part that is the highest is the part where the most light is reflecting off of, and so it would be the lightest. So if the light source was coming directly on top of it, then only the edges would be dark. But in this case, they're saying, if we imagine that there's a light over on this side of this circle, then what's going to happen is this area right here where all the light is shining on it is going to be the lightest and brightest. And then on this edge here, there is going to be a shadow. So what we're doing is we're just kind of going back and forth. And then as I get down here, so it's almost like a moon shadow kind of. And then what I like to do is then after I do that one, next to it, I will go a little bit lighter. Okay. And then I'm just kind of going to blend those two values together. Okay. And then it starts to look a little bit more like a 3D form. And we can also draw the shadow that this sphere would cast if the light was over here. Okay, so then this area right here would be really the darkest. Okay, now if we were going to do a rectangular prism, I want to show you there's a strategy to do that, and what we're going to do is we're going to draw diagonal lines that are the same length, so from each of the 4 corners, okay? And this one is actually going to be hidden inside, but we'll still, and then so we're going to connect this one to this one to this one, and then these top 2, and then these 2, okay? So now I have a rectangular prism that is see-through, right? But if I was just drawing a regular old box, if I got rid of those 2 lines, then you would just see this. And we've also, this is also, it makes it look like it's a box. So when we look here, this is just a different version of it. You can see, oh, this looks like, and you can put, you can just extend that a little bit, extend that a little bit. And then we could erase our edges, and then it looks like a box with a lid, okay? A cube is the exact same thing as the rectangular prism, where we're going to, and you can either make the diagonal lines go to the left or to the right. I'm just going to go to the right again. So I'm going to draw a diagonal line this way, and I'm going to draw another one, and then another one here, okay? And this one I'm going to make a dashed line because we're going to, and then I'm just going to go over and down, okay? But if we could really see inside of it, this would be here like this too, okay? And then for the for the pyramid, there's a couple of ways to do this. We could draw a vertical line down like this, and then kind of go out and back, okay? So that's looking into it, but if we wanted it to look, we can also do a triangle, but what we're going to do is make this line come down a little bit more, and then we have our pyramid. And again, depending on our light source, if our light was coming from over here and shining on this part, then this part would be shaded dark. And then this would be the shadow for the pyramid, okay? We're also going to talk about cylinders and cones, although they don't really have a one-to-one correspondence of a shape, okay? Cylinders are, I guess you could say, they're kind of using an oval. So an oval here and an oval here. And then what we're doing is we're connecting the sides, okay? And if it was a cylinder that we couldn't see through, if it wasn't a glass jar, if it was just a can, then it would look like this. But if it was a glass jar like this here, we would be able to see this oval. And again, like they kind of did, we could put a lid on it if we wanted to, okay? And we could change the edge a little bit so that it comes in. So it looks like a lid, okay? And then the last thing we're going to draw, which also uses an oval, is a cone. So if we draw the oval, but instead we're going to go down and then down, okay? Or if we drew it the other way, we draw our oval diagonal line up, diagonal line down, and then we can erase that. And again, if the light was coming from over here, there would be a shadow on this side. And then there would be, it would be casting a shadow that way, okay? So what I'd like you to do is, you might say, well, what are we going to be doing with all this? Well, there's another worksheet that I sent you that talks about how to draw a cake. And we are going to be doing a lesson where we're going to be designing our own cakes. And so we want our cakes to have form. So what I'd like you to do this week is to simply practice drawing some of these shapes and then turning them into forms, okay? So in your sketchbook, you can turn to a blank page and you can practice, because when we go to design a cake, one of the shapes we will be thinking about is a cylinder, right? And as you're practicing in your sketchbook, you can also, with your cylinder, depending on the shape of your oval, you can kind of experiment with how you're going to, you could make it bigger, right? And even just practice getting the hang of drawing ovals that are kind of like this, right? That are the same, like oval, oval. So this would be a short, wide cylinder, right? Maybe try tall and thin. If you put that on top of it, and then you could shade these sides. Kind of have a cool upside down looking pencil with an eraser. So try combining some different shapes together also, and seeing, or drawing. Maybe you want to practice drawing. Oops, sorry. Boom, boom, boom. You could practice drawing a cake that's square. So you could draw, or rectangular. You could draw a rectangle, draw your diagonal, 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 connect, connect. And you can round the edges, round the corners. And then we have kind of a cake. Okay. So this week is all about practice and exploration. And then next week, we'll start to talk about how we're going to design and construct our cakes. Hope you guys have a great week, and I look forward to touching base with you on Monday.